Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make a form of visual encryption, and that can't be read by automated systems. So you might have your own reasons for using this technique, whether you're trying to get around government censorship or Google, or just experimenting with concrete poetry. Um, I'm going to show you this technique that I created, and I hope you find use for it. Okay, so now we've gone and got some footage that we can use as a backdrop to what we're working on here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go and find that footage. So I just got my folder here where it's stored, and these are some video clips that I shot earlier that are good backgrounds because it's got some different layers, transparency, text going on in them. So we're just going to go ahead and get Final Cut ready here. And then we're going to just go ahead and select all of those movie files. So let's just select the file here, just anyone, just for the example, and give it a playthrough. Let's see how it looks. It's a nice one. It's got some writing on glass here, a few different layers. So we'll go ahead and drop that into the timeline. And just click yes here to change the clip sequences. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go and just basically chop off the audio there. We're not going to need it. Makes the clip smaller. You see it doesn't need to render right away again. And yeah, and just play through that clip. Looks good. Maybe let's cut it down a bit. It's a bit long. And just delete those sections. And just drag it right back to the beginning of the timeline. So then go back up to the browser. And let's try and find another clip that might work well to layer over top. Let's see. This one looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll just drag that right on top in the timeline. And again, just get rid of that audio. Adjust the size here so you can get a look at the whole clip. And the first thing we're going to do here is we're just going to go and we are going to change the blending mode. So basically what that does is give you different opacity effects in the clip. So you're seeing here both clips at the same time. But the composite mode is just going to give you some slightly different looks that you can experiment with. So I guess find one that you like. That's a bit bright. Soft light. Okay, that seems pretty good. So now you can see we have both clips playing as two layers basically in the timeline with the soft light composite mode. Just try one more just to see if that's any better. No. Okay, good, hard light. Let's go with hard light. Okay, so we've got that composite mode. Selected. And yeah, then we can go ahead and we can trim off that other clip that was below it. Just delete those ends there. Just so we've got exactly the same size, same time length in that clip. And drag it back to the beginning of the timeline. And we need to render that clip. So we'll just go ahead and render everything there. Save that. Okay. So we're back and our render is finished here. And the next step is going to be to just play it through here for a second. And it's playing smoothly. It's got a nice complicated background, which makes it again harder to decipher by electronic surveillance, which is what we're trying to avoid here. So I think that's perfect. So the next step is going to be to add some text. So we're going to go into text in your viewer here and just scroll right down there to whatever type of text you want to put over it. I like the crawling text. I think it works well, and it also has the effect that the entire text is never on the frame at one time, which again makes it harder for electronic means to read. So go in here to the text parameters, and we're going to write a text in here. So we're going to go ahead and select which font we want. I'm using the Chicago Hoods, which is a nice, complicated, again hard to read font that we can place over top of the background. And I'm just going to write in quickthegif.com. Instruction video. And then at Paul Kneale. We'll go ahead back to the video here and just scroll through the timeline of that clip, and yeah, there's the text. It's up there, but I think it needs to be a bit bigger. So we'll increase the size here, the font size. So yeah, so let's also just slightly change the location of that to make it more centered. That looks about perfect. And then we'll go ahead and we'll drop that into the timeline and just stretch out the ends of that clip so it has the same duration as the background clips underneath. Just roll through it here before it's rendered. Looks good. It's got a good position. It could be a little bit bigger. Let's just pull that out in the wireframe mode. And I think that's about good. Okay, so next we want to make some tests with the composite mode of that text layer as well, which you'll remember we did before with the video background. So again, it's up to you what kind of look you prefer in the text, making it easier or harder to read depending on your purposes. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good, like that. So play through, and need to render that. It's going to take a minute here. Okay, so now we've rendered text overlaid onto the background. We're almost finished this stage in Final Cut, so we're just going to play through. And there it is. There's the text scrolling over top of the background. It's very hard to read. You definitely need to be a human concentrating on reading that in order to make it out. So I think that's pretty good. And then we're just gonna go ahead and export that timeline that we've made there, and we're gonna just export it to QuickTime Movie using the basic settings. Doesn't need to be super high quality for this. We'll go down and we'll get just put it to video only, and you can decide where you want to save it to, and then go ahead and save that, and that's gonna export that clip into a QuickTime Movie. So the next thing we're going to do is, now that we've exported that QuickTime Movie, we're going to go and just locate where we save that clip to and open it up, have a look. And it seems to be playing through fine. It looks good. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Nice smooth playback, lots of visual information. I think it looks perfect. So we go ahead and close that, and we're going to open up Photoshop. Let me just go to import here, and we're going to import video frames to layers. That's going to open up this dialog box. Might take a moment. Okay, so here we have, just got to find, okay, so we've located that clip, open that clip, and it opens this dialog box here, import video to layers, and here you can adjust. If your clip is longer than you wanted it to be, you can trim it at the edges here, and that will only import those frames. But we also want to click limit the frame rate, and we're just gonna import maybe every, let's say, 6 frames, which is gonna make the clip a bit smaller, which will make it better as a GIF. Okay. So So we've got that open in Photoshop now, and you see down in the bottom it's opened into the animation timeline. And we've got about 100 frames, which is perfect. You can have more or less depending on the quality and the smoothness of the playback. So we also want to go to image size now, and it doesn't need to be that big, so we'll make it a bit smaller. 600 is probably a good web size for your GIF. And the next thing, we're just going to go through and highlight all those frames, and we're just going to adjust the delay speed from 0.3 to 0.1 seconds. And again, you can adjust that as you prefer for the effect. And make sure forever is clicked so it keeps looping. And test the playback. It's pretty good, it's pretty smooth. Okay, so next we're gonna go File, up to Save for Web. And when you click that, we're gonna get to this new dialog box here. Takes a minute to open. And okay, so now we can adjust some of the parameters of the GIF that we're making. In order to make it a bit smaller, we'll just change the lossiness of the compression. We'll up that a bit. And then, okay, so it's gone down to just a little over 8 megabytes here. Still a bit on the big side, but okay. Try and see what it looks like at 45, 40. It still looks okay, and it's made it a bit smaller. You can also try changing the number of colors down to 126. It changes the look of the GIF a lot, as you can see. Some of the colors are gone now and has a kind of more grayish, washed out look that you may or may not be into. You can give it a playthrough. And I think I like the 256 better, so we're going to go back to that. And play it through again. Yeah, that definitely is good. So, go ahead and save that. Next, you can find where you saved that to, and just check out your finished GIF. So there it is, it's playing. I think it looks good. You can also check it in a browser. And there you go. So that GIF is finished. That's a visually encrypted GIF, cryptic GIF, and yeah, you've now got that GIF file, and you can upload that to your website or send it as an attachment in an email, or do whatever you want with it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you will find something to do with these crypto GIFs that I showed you how to make here today.